3, 2,
3, 2, 1, live, go.
We're live. You never fit in mine.
Get yours. Did you just? No, I'm not even gonna.
What? What did I do?
Yes, I do very well. That's
What
all
did
I'm
I
gonna
do?
say. That's all I'm gonna say.
What did I do?
So you just asked me a question that, or you made a statement. You didn't ask a question. You made a statement that was very incorrect.
Incorrect?
Huh?
You mean innuendo?
No, it was incorrect.
Okay. We're really going to start this way. This is how we're starting. Hi, guys.
It's been a morning already.
Hi, fam.
Oh my gosh. What's up, everybody?
Well, you know these are not scripted. Hello.
No,
it's real life.
Not scripted. This is as close. She says all the time that you guys are missing out because I'm an idiot.
I don't say it like that.
You don't say it like that. No. Yeah. What are we talking about today? Well, first off, how's everybody doing? We were going to do this yesterday, but we got started a little bit late, and Nat had a headache like crazy yesterday.
Crazy headache.
And we needed to kind of just go chill. We went to brunch.
Brunches.
Had some good breakfast.
So check out my stories. I posted our.
And then you started feeling better.
Smorgasbord
We
of brunch.
spent the day working.
We did. Lots
Doing
of work.
stuff.
Yep.
I finally mailed out my taxes. Yay.
Oh, snap. I still got to do that.
And then I'm not talking about last year's taxes.
I still got to do that, too.
That's the whole story. CPAs not doing their job and a whole bunch of other stuff. So that was yesterday. So that's why we didn't do this yesterday. Today, also, one of the reasons we didn't do it yesterday is because we really didn't have
what to talk about.
any idea what to talk about.
We didn't have like a burning topic.
Usually during the week, something will come up and we'll be like, oh my God, we got to talk about this on Saturday or this weekend. We didn't have that happen this week until yesterday evening.
We're walking.
No, I had, we were finishing our 21-day challenge in my group.
Oh, okay. Is that what sparked the idea?
That's what sparked the idea.
Okay.
We were finishing our 21-day challenge and we had our wrap-up video. Coach Michelle and the ladies were on. And some things, you know how you hear one thing and then it gets your brain going and you start, and we did that.
Sorry,
we went
babe.
for a walk.
Pause for the cause.
I got boogers. I got eye boogers.
No eyelashes. All of them. Like whatever you just did.
Lashes
everywhere.
Losing my eyelashes. After you plucked my eyebrows this morning.
I trained him this morning.
She put tallow. Serena, thank you for the tallow.
Shout out to Serena.
She put tallow on my face, plucked my eyebrows.
So he's beautified for our
I feel like a new man. So we had the call. It was a great call. It was fascinating. Every time we do these wrap-up calls, it's fascinating to hear what things were impactful.
Because it's a little bit different every time.
It's a little bit different every time. This time, also where we focus, because every challenge just has a little different focus, a little different, you do things a little differently each time. And the impact for this one, everyone said that the focus that we spent on the why and the why not was just impactful and transformative. So that was really cool to hear. But it got me thinking about one thing. Then we started talking about that. And then you came up with the other thing.
Yep.
And so then now we are into this whole thing. Like we have something to talk about.
We were fired up.
I think
now we have a topic.
Right now, I think this could be 2 videos, but we'll see how this goes. Because we don't want to be on here for 2 hours.
No, we do have a.
We got to try to keep it succinct. Word of the day, succinct. If we can do that. All right. So you want to lead in? Well, let's do this. First off, the title of this video that we're going to put in the thumbnail for YouTube is going to be, Are You a Health Groupie? And what we mean by that, and this is where the thought process goes, is we've been doing this for a long time. Mm-hmm. You've been in the keto space for longer than I have, I think.
Yeah, I suppose.
Right. But both of us have only really been active, speaking, getting out there, doing things. You're about 2 years in.
Yeah.
I'm about 3 years in, as far as actively trying to grow, become more involved in social media, content, influencer, coaching, that kind of stuff.
Thought I was going to sneeze, but
In that time,
it's like hanging out there.
and even for me, even not just in the keto space, but it goes longer because I've been coaching for 12 years now. I've seen people in that time, people that I know from 12 years ago. And I'm thinking about this now, didn't think about this last night. There are people that I know right now from 12 years ago who have not made any progress. Right? But I see them everywhere.
Yeah.
They're at every conference. They've read every book. They follow every influencer. They are in every group that you go on. And the idea, it's like, okay, at what point does being involved in the community become actually doing something to change your life?
Or not.
Or not?
Or is it that being in communities
Is what
makes you feel like you're doing something?
I call it the Planet Fitness effect.
Oh, what is that?
I just made that up.
Yeah. Describe that to the
I just made that up. So if you guys aren't aware, Planet Fitness is one of the largest fitness fitness businesses in the world. Their model, I don't know if you guys have ever been to I know plenty of you have been to a Planet Fitness. Their buildings, where they actually house an actual gym, at the most, on average, can hold 250 people. That's space. That's not even 250 people working out. It's probably more like 100 people actually working out, using the equipment. Okay? The average Planet Fitness has 5,000 members.
Yeah, their model is for you not to go.
Exactly. Their model is the dopamine effect. It's the mental game of, if I pay for the membership every month, I can check the box that I'm doing something for my health.
Yep, and it's low ticket. So
it's low ticket. It's easy, no barrier to entry. It's $20 a month.
So you don't feel that bad if you're not actually using it.
Exactly. You don't feel like you're missing out on
anything. If you're paying $100 or more a month to go to a gym, you're going to feel that.
And that's why paying for an expensive gym membership is important.
It's more worth it. It's an investment. Same thing with coaching, right?
Yep.
Ooh, what a perfect tie-in. I was inspired to post something that I saw in my group the other day, and now it ties in perfectly with this topic. So it's definitely going to be the next post. But it was a conversation about coaching versus essentially community groups, right?
Yeah.
Joining these community groups where this thread started in my group, countless members sharing their experience of what they went through for years
in other places,
in this keto carnivore space, or elsewhere, other health and fitness spaces, for years, following people, joining groups, feeling like they were going to get coaching, but it was really just community, which
isn't bad.
You're the
That's
first
great.
to say that community is very important. But when you're joining a group, and it's partially it's the blind leading the blind, partially
a lot of it is the blind leading the blind.
A lot of it is having a group to lament with.
It's not accountability, it's commiseration.
Commiseration. That is exactly what it is.
Yeah. There are far too many groups out there that are being sold as community and put out by people who are just looking for other people to help them support their excuses for not going anywhere.
What do you call that? Not validation. What's the word?
Affirmation, validation, commiseration.
Keeping you stuck when it's keeping you stuck. How did I totally forget that word?
Keeping you stuck?
Yeah, it's like validating your lack of action.
Okay.
No,
I'm not sure what word you're looking for. What word is she looking for, guys?
If somebody knows what
I'm never the one to not know the word either.
If Michelle was on,
malingering?
No. Wow. He does know a lot of words, but in this case, not the one I'm looking for.
I don't know what word you're looking for. I feel
that's going to drive me crazy.
It's going to drive me crazy. I hate not knowing words, guys. Enabling?
Enabling!
Yay!
That's the word. Who got it?
Thank you, Becky.
Becky, our girl. Yes. Yes.
Enabling. Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. enablers. It's a bunch of groups of enabling.
Right.
It's okay, right?
Yeah.
I did this, I did that, falling off or cheating or whatever it is. It's okay. It's a lot of that, just
Yeah.
which that's important.
And there's right.
The compassion piece is important.
Compassion piece, grace is important, but
But
accountability
when it comes
is
to,
what you need.
yes, and when it comes to it ends up being nothing but enablement. And then we see a lot of people just not moving forward, not making progress, not reaching their goals,
Yeah.
or taking action in any way. Because getting into a group and chatting feels like action, but it's not the kind of action that's going to get you results.
Yes.
So this conversation
It's better. Now, here's the thing, and this
all
is
about that.
where we were talking about. It's better than nothing. I would rather. Now, don't get me wrong. If you are a groupie, and we're calling this being a groupie, right? Groupies hang around.
In groups.
They're not part of the band. They're not doing anything on stage. They're not taking part in the performance of their
actual
lives.
groupie,
They're not
right.
actually doing anything. They just hang around. That's what a lot of people. That's the state. That's where a lot of people are at. They're hanging around. They are not actually doing something, but they get that feel good of, I get to see my friends when I go to the conferences. I get to hang out with all these people in these groups, and I get to, and all of this stuff. And they know everything. They can talk the talk, but they're not walking the walk. Well, how do we go from
Switch.
being a
How do you
groupie
shift?
to being part of the band?
Ooh, I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do. That's where we're trying to be. I want to be in the band. I want to be the one up there singing the song, making the music, and doing something that makes an impact. So that is kind of the whole idea of being a groupie. And we all know, if you are feeling some kind of way about this message, sit with that. Sit with that. Why would someone be looking at all this information, taking all this information in for a year? In some cases, it's years.
Yeah.
And not making any changes. What is it that's holding you back? What is it that's in the way? Now, where I was going with that was, there is a point where the information that you've gained, if you're in this groupie status, if you're being a groupie, there is a point where all of the information you're gaining is better than not having the information at all. Right? I would rather have someone who's in the community doing all of these things and not actually making a bunch of steps and changes and progressing in their actual health and quality of life, because at least they're
learning.
They're in the mix. They're there. They're not being left outside.
And educating yourself
right? And
needs
educating
to be
yourself.
the first step, right? Because
Correct.
if you don't know what to do, then you certainly can't take action.
At some point, that information has to spill over into your actual life, though.
Yeah.
There has to be a change where you know all of the things you need to do. There is nothing, if you've been in the keto space for 4 years and you haven't seen any changes, it's not a lack of information.
Yeah.
It's not a lack of information.
Well, you know what?
There's something going on up here that's preventing you from taking the actions that you need to take. And that's where the why not, the being self-aware, understanding what accountability is, which we can review if you want to review accountability, which is just being forced to be self-aware. That's really all it is. That has to, you got to start getting that stuff into it.
I think, though, what happens for people, especially in this particular space, I shouldn't even say that, because really health and fitness in general.
You're super pretty. Go ahead.
You see what he does to me, and then I can't focus.
Sorry,
What was
I'm
I
just
saying?
the lighting, and you put the filter on and everything.
Oh gosh. Okay.
good,
I
sorry.
love you telling me I'm beautiful. But
Sorry, I just interrupted you.
now I have
Completely
no
interrupted
idea what I was saying.
You were
Totally gone.
I apologize.
About our space.
Yes,
And
our
really
space.
the health and fitness space in general, because there is so much conflicting information out there that I think people latch onto and believe, and unfortunately it's because it's what is being taught out there by a lot of these gurus and the people running these groups and these communities, is that, oh, if you're not making progress, it's this, try this fad new thing. You need to start eating fast. Oh, you're not making progress because you're not eating an extra stick of butter every day. Do that. And now people are latching on, thinking it's an information problem. if I'm not making progress, it's because I need to try this next new thing.
I need more information.
Right? Or this next new crazy, ridiculous approach. They're not thinking about it as crazy and ridiculous. They're thinking about it as this must be the thing I'm missing because that's what they're being taught.
And there's maybe there's levels of
that. Marketed to that this is what you need now. And think about it. For those of you who don't know, and this I actually do, I've started educating my clients on this. To understand the source, I like to say, consider the source. Mm-hmm. When you see something out there and you're wondering if it applies to you, right? And they come in, they ask, thank goodness they ask, or they just share, and then I can read between the lines and I can tell them. I've started to teach them about marketing, online marketing jargon and tricks and tips, things that people in our space are taught to do to get more views, to get more clicks, to make more money. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people in the space who are in it for money.
For money.
Well, for YouTube fame, and for all the things that come with that. And the way that they speak to you is a marketing tactic. This fear mongering and this, you're missing the one thing, here's the secret.
Sense of scarcity,
yep.
right?
Yep.
Perception of scarcity.
A lot of people buy into that stuff. Yeah. And when you're in the communities and it's all the buzz because everybody's talking about it, there are people who genuinely think that the reason they're not making progress is because they haven't done that trick yet.
Right.
And unfortunately, it's really not their fault.
Yeah, and that's another layer, I think, in this groupie concept is there's the people who are just taking information but not actually doing anything because they haven't made that connection, that knowledge. I found this for the book. I forget the guy's name. It was one of the quotes for the last chapter that basically summarizes everything. Every chapter has a quote. Mm-hmm. And the quote is, knowledge without action is no different than not having knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And that is literally...
I like to say, knowledge is not power, it's potential power.
It's potential power. You can know all of the things in the world, but if you're not doing anything, then it doesn't matter.
The knowledge becomes power when you use it and you do something with it.
I got a car that's full of gas, but I never drive it anywhere. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's great, right? So where was I going with that? Oh, the different layers. So there's the having the knowledge but not taking action, but then there's the having the knowledge and trying all of the different things without applying wisdom.
Yeah.
And critical thinking to the process to kind of see what you should be doing instead of wasting your time.
And that's the power of a good coach or coaching system where it's not. A lot of coaches too, they just give you a protocol. We talk about the principles over protocols all the time, right? That's what your whole book is about. And good coaches actually teach you how to analyze things for yourself and assess based on...
Ask questions.
Looking at the right variables or factors to, are you making progress? The timeline that it takes to really make progress. And how long you need to try something and evaluate it before you make a decision and all of those things. And, coaching should not be buy this program or just get on calls and it's random. Yeah. It's a coach can help you learn how to figure out what's right for you and why and how and all of the little things that if you lean into learning it, applying it, assessing it, analyzing it, and owning it. That's that's my whole brand is learning to own it. Being the CEO of your body, that's what that means. I'm the CEO of your journey. Not just shopping it out to other people. Not just jumping into a group and saying, what are you trying this week?
You're making me, we're going to talk about something else later, but this is making me think about, we should have a quick conversation about when you're looking at your options to get help.
Ooh, yeah. I think that would be wildly beneficial for people to understand.
You said something that coaching should not be. What should coaching be? And I think for all of you that are maybe in a program or looking for, well, I want to join a community, I want to get an app, I want to join a group, I want to do a challenge, I want to find a coach, whatever it may be. My recommendation in a general sense, because this goes back into definitions of words, and people use words differently, even though they have their own meaning, and people don't always use them the right way. But if you're looking for a coach, if you're looking for a coaching program, if it is not specifically designed to help you, regardless of what that person does,
Yes.
they are not a coach. They are not a coach. A coach asks questions about you and helps you find your path.
Honestly, coaches ask more questions than give answers.
Right? Coaches are closer to counselors than trainers, right? or nutritionists or whatever you want to call it, right?
Right.
A coach is someone who's going to help look at the entirety of you and where you're trying to go and help you figure out that plan for yourself. They're going to ask more questions. They're going to do assessments and evaluations. In many cases, they're going to help you answer your own questions. Okay, it's not about them just saying, I know everything, here's what you need to do.
Right.
That is not a coach.
No.
So if you're in a program and that program is having everyone do the same thing.
At the same time.
Program is having everyone do the same thing, particularly that the person who came up with the program, this is what works for me, so everyone else should do this as well.
And this is what we mean by protocols. When we say protocols, if you don't understand what we're talking about when we say that, they are, and this is what has happened today with social media being what it is, right? And influencers on any platform. They pick a platform, right? They get a big audience, and then the question is, how do I monetize that audience? The average public doesn't think about these things. You don't even realize that you're being marketed to all the time. And so it's about, okay, I have this big audience. Let me create something that they can buy from me.
Well,
and so it becomes, here's what I did.
Right.
Do what I did.
Well, that's how they get their audience in the first place. It's something dramatic. It's, I just ate peanuts for 30 days and lost 80 pounds, right? Whatever it is. And then everybody's like, what the hell is that? The peanut diet? Okay, great. Let's go eat peanuts. And then they get a bunch of people in, and then they say, here's how you can do this too. And then that becomes a thing.
And this is, when I say consider the source, think about where this person started from. Sometimes you can see yourself in that person.
Yeah.
Right? And that's another kind of marketing tactic they throw in there to make you see yourself in them. But if, for instance, here's a perfect example. If, for instance, the person you're following was underweight, malnourished, undernourished, and they came to carnivore and they started eating underweight.
Whoop. I just want to see who's on. Okay.
And they started over consuming.
Yep.
Right? Ate 3 times, 4 times as much as they used to. And they're the person telling you to eat a stick of butter, eat more, eat more, eat more. And you are coming from a position where you have been severely overweight and overeating on a standard American diet, and you come to carnivore. Doing what they said is going to get you what they got. Think about where they started from.
Different spots.
These people had to put on weight. They were underweight. They were undernourished. They were not getting what they needed. And some of you absolutely need to eat more, but
if the
for a
it's all about
lot of
context.
people, if you are severely overweight, that was not your problem.
Yeah.
When you came to carnivore. So that's the reason why eating a stick of butter a day is not working for you. So you have to think about, who am I watching? Where did they come from? What was their story? Is it similar to mine? You know, then you can at least assess, if I follow their protocol, will it work for me or not?
What's going to happen to me?
Right?
Yeah.
So if you're down for that, and that's more comfortable for you, because you got a lot of really powerful comments over there.
Yeah.
Because what we're really talking about is human psychology here. we always get into human psychology, but it's this concept of there's all this resistance to taking action. And so when you're doing these things, it's like doing the least amount makes you feel better.
Oh, whoa, you just hit on something.
Then it's like, at least you can kind of assess if you can start there with this. Does this protocol even make sense for me? Start there. At least it's somewhere to start.
What about the idea? And maybe this is some of you out there. I'd love to know what you guys think about this. What about the idea that being confused is a purposeful choice to keep you from taking the steps you really know you need to take?
Say that again.
I'm going to try this because if I try this, I don't have to think about this. That doesn't work. Oh, that wasn't the right thing. Let me try something else. Purposely being confused, purposefully trying things to keeping it more complicated so you don't have to stop, make it simple, and then realize, crap, it's all in my head. I have to do the self-work.
It's always all in your head. It's
right.
Here's the little clip notes, guys.
It always is. We know that.
All it boils down to is that there's something up here you need to work on.
Right, but just think. But what's the word? Weaponized ignorance.
Ooh, yeah. There you go.
Doing self-sabotage.
Applied to this.
Self-sabotage, but in the perspective of I'm going to go out and try all these things because maybe one of these things will work. Instead of me having to do the things that I know.
You know what's awesome?
Yeah.
Just yesterday, I happened upon a Huberman short, and it was about dopamine. Like a lot of his stuff is about dopamine, right? But it was about when you go clean the house because you don't really want to do the work that you need to do.
Right, when you've got a list of things, and I don't want to do that, I want to do all this other stuff.
Yeah, they feel hard to you, so you look for the easier thing to do just to fill the space until you can muster up the will to do the hard thing.
But you're being active, you're getting something done.
So it makes you feel better, right? Because you're checking things off the list that really are not the important things, right? Yep. He explained what this phenomenon is.
Okay.
What's happening with your dopamine, it's actually the worst thing you can do to go and do something easier.
Right.
Because what's happening to your dopamine reserves, it's actually working against you for what you want to do with your dopamine, to change your dopamine. I forget what he calls it. He has a term for like your dopamine. It's not a threshold, but something like that, right? So instead of doing the easier thing, what you actually should do in that case would be to do something that feels more difficult, more daunting, more uncomfortable, painful than the thing that you need to do or want to do, because it's always what people say I need to do, right? So if you don't want to work out and you're having all this resistance to working out, so you're like going to clean the house instead because normally you wouldn't want to clean the house, instead, right? But now it feels easier. Instead, he gave the example of a cold shower. Like nobody wants to get in. Yeah, but if you did that instead, it's resetting or retraining the dopamine so that now when you go to do the hard thing, the normal hard thing like working out, it doesn't feel that same way.
Right. I got you. So you're basically, it's like, it's the opposite of desensitizing. It's like insulin sensitivity, right? It's like retraining. It's like becoming more sensitive to the stimulus, right? Or less. Yeah.
The hard thing.
The hard thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's conditioning you to lean into the hard thing. To lean into the hard thing.
It makes the hard things easier. You get a better dopamine hit from doing the hard thing.
And this ties into what we were talking about earlier regarding this topic, which is where's the line between change is hard. Change is hard. That's just a fact of human nature. We are biologically wired to not want change. It's risky, right? According to our limbic brain. We want to stay comfortable, and comfortable is familiar.
Like being comfy.
And familiar might be the thing that's killing us. Let's be real, right? It's robbing us of our health, but it's familiar, so it feels safe. So our limbic brain is going to keep trying to keep us there. So change is hard, right? Where's the line of this? I need to make this change easier to execute versus I've made it so easy that now I'm comfortable here and I don't want to take the next step.
Right.
I don't want to.
Right. We want our life to be easy, but we also want our change to be easy. And it can't be both.
It can't be both. Yeah. It's
right.
difficult.
So if I have to make a change, there has to be some level of difficulty, challenge that I'm facing to make that change. You can't make your change easy and keep your life easy at the same time. Like, it just doesn't work that way. Something in your life has to get a little hard. You can make the change easier, but it still has to make your life a little harder.
As soon as it becomes easy again, basically that's when your progress is going to stop.
Right.
So if you're wondering why I'm not making progress, you've gotten comfortable somewhere, and there's something you need to look at, that if you're not changing it, then you're okay. The progress everybody thinks of is your body changing, right?
Yes.
Your body's not going to change until you do something that's a change that requires and elicits a change in your body. So if you're doing the same things,
well, this is the
expecting
easiest
a different
way.
result,
Right.
that's insanity.
The easiest connection we can probably make is from a fitness perspective when you're training. If you're lifting weights and you first get started, you're not using any weights. I'm just using my body weight. I'm lifting my arm, holding it down, doing whatever, right? You're doing body weight work. At some point in time, that's going to be boring and super easy, and it's not going to be a challenge anymore. The only way you can get better is by throwing a 5-pound dumbbell in your hand, or holding a water jug, doing something that actually adds some resistance. Without resistance, there is no growth.
Oof, without resistance, that you need to use that as opposed
Right.
Without resistance, there is no growth.
Well, we've talked about this. We've talked, everything we talk about, we're going to talk about again. We've talked about before. But
Always.
I think I got Michelle to verify this at one point in time on one of our calls, because she owns chickens. And it might have been even on a YouTube channel, right? Chickens have to break their own shell and hatch.
Ooh,
If you break their shell for them, they will die.
They will die. Yeah.
They have to go through that struggle to survive and get out of that shell and do it on their own. And we're the same way.
Yep. Avoiding the hard work is not going to get you there.
Right. I love this.
Anywhere.
This is one of the reasons, guys. As much as I'm a science fiction nerd and I love movies and comic books and all that kind of stuff, the one biggest thing I ever got from The Matrix, the biggest message I ever got from The Matrix, was towards the end of the first movie, when Agent Smith had Neo in the chair and he's grilling him. Or not Neo, Morpheus in the chair, and he's grilling before Neo rescues him with the helicopter and the machine gun and all that kind of stuff. And he says, talks about the history of the Matrix in the movie, where it kept failing and it kept failing and it kept failing. And the reason it kept failing was because they made it too easy.
Ooh.
The state of human beings, the state of being who we are as biological creatures, requires difficult, challenging, hard things.
I truly believe we're here on this earth to evolve.
Absolutely.
That's the point of human life. So if you're treading water, you're actually going backwards.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was kind of deep. But so don't be a groupie.
If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you.
There we go. Resistance is required for growth. How many other buzz things can we put in here all at the same time?
Well, we can end on this and maybe pick it up next time.
Oh, yeah. We're going to do that? Because we could go on another 40 minutes on this one.
Let's just
So next week, we're going to talk about a continuation. It's kind of a continuation of this, right?
Yep.
Because what we're talking about is being aware of where you are and why you're there. Now, once you're aware, because you already have, if you're a groupie, you've been in the space, you have the knowledge, you know, and you guys have heard me say this all the time. The fitness is easy. The nutrition is easy. Understanding why you're not doing those things, that's the challenge, okay? Part of that is understanding what you really want. What do you really want in your life? And next week, we're going to talk about
if wherever you are
is
where you want to be.
Boom. Okay? You are not anywhere that you don't want to be. You are always in the place that you have done the things to get where you are. You've made those choices.
So if you don't like where you are, You don't want
Dot,
it.
dot,
You
dot,
don't-
dot, dot.
You don't want it bad enough, right? We both had clients say, well, maybe I just don't want it bad enough. And my response to that would be, you're right.
You're right.
100% you don't want it bad enough.
What do you want? If
Because if you did,
we're talking about it.
I know. If you wanted it bad enough, you would take the action.
Yeah.
So that's where you start. And we can pick that up next week. But that's where
Yeah.
you start. You lean into, if I say I want this and I'm not taking the action, what is going on in my head about what I say I want?
And we'll talk about this more, but basically, I just have to say this, is what you want is 100% yours. And that's where a lot of people get stuck, is they think the things that they want, they're saying that they want are coming from other places, not themselves.
It's shoulds. Yeah.
Right?
It's
It's
not
shoulds
wants.
and needs and expectations and belief
Oh,
systems.
that's what we'll get into.
Right?
Yes.
So understanding that it starts with you. If you're saying you want something and it's not something that you deep inside actually want, that's probably why you're stuck.
Exactly. 100%. Yep.
Yep.
So we'll talk about how to find that.
How to
next
find
week.
it. Yeah. And how to understand that whatever you want is okay. No one else has anything to say about it. See you guys.
Catch you next time.